Are you thinking about getting a Kindle or upgrading your existing Kindle? This video may be for you. Welcome to Mad on Books, where I usually talk about fantasy mostly, science fiction sometimes, and comics occasionally, but not today. Today I will be talking about the Kindle PaperWhite Signature from 2023. I just upgraded from my previous Kindle. This had some features that I was interested in that I thought would actually be nice. I read a lot, and when I'm traveling especially, or there's a sale on Kindle books or something, I tend to read on those. I like reading on the paper as well, but the PaperWhite Kindles, I've had one for a while, and I actually really enjoy the reading experience, considering it's not paper but digital. It's as close to paper maybe as it can get. So first of all, let's clarify some confusion. The confusion may not be yours, it may have only been mine, but I find it very confusing the way that all of the different Kindle models are named. I feel like somebody should shake the Amazon marketing department. I'm not really an early adopter. I work in technology, and I know that any new technology is going to be garbage until all of the kinks have been ironed out. So I usually wait. So my history with the Kindle begins in 2011, 2012 with the Kindle 4, which I don't have. I can't show it to you, but here's a picture. And back then, it was pretty easy. The Kindle 4 was the fourth generation of the Kindles. Then they started branching out, and there was the PaperWhite, and there were some other models and that kind of thing. And then it starts getting weird. So my next one was the Kindle PaperWhite 3, which is the 7th generation Kindle. And now it's even weirder. So my newest one, which I just got last week, is the extremely overbearing, long named Kindle PaperWhite Signature. And it's the 11th generation. And it's current with this year. I really can't wait until 2025 when Amazon will be releasing the Kindle PaperWhite Signature Deluxe Book-like Edition. 15th generation, of course. Luckily, to clear up all of this confusion, Wikipedia has a really good page on the Kindles, and they list all of the different models by years, by generations, etc. Because very often you will see someone offering a Kindle on eBay and they say it's a 5th generation Kindle, but they don't say anything else. And then somewhere else someone will say it's a 2019 Kindle and nothing else. Or they'll say it's a PaperWhite 4, and who knows which one they're actually talking about. So go to Wikipedia and have a look. Because this was an upgrade for me, I would like to start by comparing the Kindle PaperWhite 3, my old model, 7th generation, to my new one, which is the Kindle PaperWhite Signature 11th generation. The PaperWhite 3, for a long time I was thinking it was almost perfect. Yeah, it's a PaperWhite, so it's got a pretty good contrast on the screen. The screen is not very glary. It weighs less than a paperback book. It's quick enough. The sharpness of the text and the contrast really is good, especially compared to the earlier Kindles, which had a very gray background and very kind of low contrast between the background and the text. It's pretty awesome. There are a couple of things which I always thought were slightly annoying, like the plastic frame is set up a little bit from the screen itself. So there's an edge, there's a physical edge inside on the edge of the screen. Also, the screen could be a little larger, but otherwise I was pretty happy with it overall. The PaperWhite Signature, the 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite Signature, actually solves a lot of these problems. The face is totally smooth all the way across. The frame, the part of the body that is not screen, is smaller, therefore the screen is bigger, and it is physically a little bit bigger. Not that much, but a little bit bigger than the 7th generation PaperWhite 3. Not so much anymore, but I used to have a phase where I was traveling a lot and had my Kindle with me all the time. And the great thing about it, which you can't do with most paperbacks, is I could stick my PaperWhite 3 in the back pocket of my jeans. Warning, if you're going to do this, make sure you don't sit on it, which I did more than once. But I always realized it before I ended up crushing it and breaking it, which is good. The physical form of it, it's slightly larger, but very slightly. It's slightly heavier, but very slightly. It still weighs less than most paperbacks. It is much bigger as far as storage space goes. It's got, well, this is the other thing to know about the Kindle PaperWhite Signature 11th generation is it's a version. There is a Kindle PaperWhite 11th generation and there is a Kindle PaperWhite Signature 11th generation. They have some differences, and I'll compare those in a minute. There are chapters if you want to jump ahead. But the PaperWhite Signature from this year has so much more space than I will ever need on a Kindle. It has 32 gig. My old one, the PaperWhite 3, 7th generation, has 8 gig, which is more than you will ever need for just books. I'll get into reasons you might want a lot of space and might want the Signature in a minute in the next chapter. The other thing it has, the new one, the Signature has, that my old one didn't, is it has a backlight temperature setting. So the screen is backlit. If you're sitting in total darkness and you put it on a low brightness setting or medium brightness setting, then it's got enough light on it that you can still read quite well. The normal backlight, which Kindles have had for a while, is quite blue. It's a typical kind of computer feeling light, so it's quite cool. The Signature actually has a temperature setting, so you can go from very cool temperature to a very warm temperature. Warm temperatures are better on your eyes, especially when you're in low light, especially when it's evening, because it affects your biorhythms. Candles are much more sort of comfortable light at night than 5,600 degrees Kelvin, which is sunlight. TV screens or computer monitors put out a very blue light, and that can be pretty damaging to your eyes when you're in a low light situation, and it can be not so good for your biorhythms because it says to your body, sunlight. So your body wants to wake up and it can make it difficult to sleep. The other thing, which is also nice, the old one I had, the 7th generation PaperWhite, is pretty much the last device I have that uses micro USB for charging. The new one, the Signature, uses USB-C, which is what everything else I have, my iPad, my iPhone, my everything else, uses USB-C, so I can get rid of a whole bunch of micro USB cables that I wasn't using anyway. So if I'm talking about the current 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite versus the 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite Signature, first of all, I got the Signature, so I can only talk from experience about the Signature, but physically, I believe they're exactly the same, except that the Signature is slightly heavier, but it's like so slightly heavier, it doesn't matter. And like I said, even the Signature weighs less than a paperback book, so who cares? The differences between them are the Signature has a lot more space, 32 gigabytes of space, whereas the current version, 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite, not Signature, has 8 gigabytes. We'll get to that in a minute. The other cool thing, potentially cool thing about the Signature is you can charge it wirelessly. This is something I don't know that much about because honestly, a wireless charger is just another big chunk of plastic that has to sit on my table somewhere, and I don't find it that annoying or difficult to plug a cable into the bottom of my Kindle. But that's just me. If you want wireless charging, the Signature has it, the other one, the normal version, doesn't. The Signature has an auto brightness adjustment setting. It's got a light sensor somewhere in the frame, and when it notices that light is changing around you and the light that's falling on the screen has gotten brighter or darker, it adjusts the screen brightness automatically so that it maintains a readable brightness. You can turn this on and off. I turn it off because I don't find it that difficult to adjust the brightness myself, and I usually read in the same place, so I don't really need it. I don't certainly care about it that much. The pricing is also a thing. The PaperWhite Signature, the Kindle PaperWhite Signature 11th generation, costs $189 if you're in dollars or euros, and it costs $179 if you're in pounds. The interesting thing is if you get the normal non-signature version, it costs $50 less, but it only costs 20 euros or 20 pounds less. Make of that what you will. The big question is, should you get a normal 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite or a 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite Signature like I got? There are a few differences which I already mentioned. There is a negligible weight difference. I think it's 10 grams, which is like not even what a big handful of rice weighs. So forget about the weight. It doesn't really make any difference. It's slightly heavier than the cheaper model. Who cares? The storage is a big difference. 8 gigabytes versus 32 gigabytes. Now, just to put this into perspective, a gigabyte is 1024 megabytes. And a book, your average book, is 1 megabyte. So if you have 8 gigabytes on your Kindle, you can have over 8,000 books on it. I've been using Kindles for a long time, since 2011 or 12. I've been buying Kindle books since then. I have maybe a Kindle library that is 500 books. I'm nowhere near 8,000. Do you need space for books? Then you probably don't need 32 gigabytes, then you probably don't need the Signature. One place I can imagine it being interesting, and I say imagine because it's not something I do, but I know a lot of people who do. If you immersion read. Immersion reading, if you don't know, is when you have the audiobook and you have the textbook and you read with your eyes while you're listening with your ears. If you do that and you wanted to put the audiobooks and the textbooks on your Kindle all in one place, and Kindle has a thing where it will actually sync them for you, so it'll turn the pages automatically while you're listening and that kind of thing. If you do that and you wanted to keep all of your audio and text files in one place, 32 gigabytes could be interesting because audio is of course a lot bigger than text as far as file size goes. I think 32 gigabytes is still gonna keep you for a long time, even with audiobooks, but it's a lot more space. If you care about wireless charging, if you think it's really cool that you can just take the thing and put it on a thing that's on your desk or on a shelf or whatever, and it charges itself and you don't have to fiddle with a USB-C cable, maybe that's cool for you. The wireless charging thing is something I haven't looked into it myself yet very much. I haven't got the wireless charger. It's meant to be a particular type of charger, a key charger, QI, and that's meant to be multiple different ones, but I have heard, I'm not sure if this is true or rumors, I've heard that the only one that dependably works is the one that Amazon itself sells. Maybe you would have to get that. It's another 50 or 70 bucks or something. Like I said, I haven't got one, I haven't paid that close attention, but if you wanted wireless charging, that might be a reason to get a Signature. And if you have a situation where you think auto brightness would be interesting, like I said, I mostly am sitting in one place almost all the time when I'm reading. I don't travel that much. Therefore, I don't have changing light situations around me often enough that I really care about the auto brightness. So my verdict would be, I don't think most people need a Signature. I bought one, yeah, in a way, mainly because I could, and I just wanted to have all the features, and I like the the possibility of doing some of the things which I don't actually do yet, but I might. And the extra space in case I start getting more into immersion reading. I thought all of these things, yeah, why not? It costs a little bit more. Doesn't make too much of a difference. For most people, I would say the current 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite, not the Signature, it's cheaper, it's got more than enough space, it doesn't do wireless charging, but you're not lazy enough that you can't plug in a fucking USB-C cable. I don't know why anyone would really need a Signature unless they really need that extra storage space. So that's about it on the 11th generation Kindle PaperWhite Signature and how it relates to the other devices that I have had or that are available. I hope this was helpful in some way. I mean, I'm not getting anything from Amazon. I don't even have an affiliate link, I'm afraid. So go out and buy yourself a Kindle if you want to, if it's something awesome for you to read on. And I hope this helped. As usual, I hope you are well. I hope you're reading awesome books, whether they're on a Kindle PaperWhite Signature or not. And I will see you next time.